Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Florida Aquarium. We're thrilled to have you here today. My name is Andy Wood. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here. I'll be your MC a little bit for this show. We want to thank you for joining us today. We have an exciting program for you. So you're going to hear from the chair of our board about some exciting news to share here at the Florida Aquarium. Our president and CEO will join us and talk a little bit about what this really means for the Florida Aquarium. You're going to hear from our top animal leadership, and we have our outside colleague who helped us bring this exciting news to life, who will be joining us. So it's a packed program. For all in the press, we have a flash drive, if you haven't gotten it from us already, that has all the images that are here as well that you see on these screens. So we'll get that to you. So that's the formalities of the program. This is an exciting day, an historic day for the Florida Aquarium. So there's no better person to share that joy with us than Chair of the Board for the Florida Aquarium, Kim Bruce.
Thank you, Andy, and that was quite the setup. So he's absolutely right. This is going to be an amazing session in which we're going to share a lot of information, and my job is to set this up without stealing anyone's thunder. So it's a bit tricky because I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here today and sharing this news with you. And the board feels very much the same. When I came at the beginning of my term, it was the 25th year anniversary of the Florida Aquarium, and we are so incredibly proud of what this organization has accomplished and what we've been able to deliver for the benefit of our community. And again, the strides that we've made on conservation, I can't underscore that enough. But today, what we're going to be sharing with you takes us to the next level. It's about not staying comfortable with where you are and the success that you've already achieved, but it's about continuing to push the envelope, do more, be better for our community, for our wildlife, and for our Florida Aquarium. So when we think about what we're doing today, and obviously you've seen the renderings around you, this is about an expansion. And I think it comes at a really, really wonderful time. Again, opening that next chapter in the history of the Florida Aquarium. We've accomplished so much. This is going to set us up to do even more. It's going to expand our footprint for our guests and enhance their experience. We've had so much more traffic, and this is going to allow us to have even greater capacity. It's going to allow us to have greater touch with more wildlife, global wildlife, and bringing that to our local community. So, like I said, I'm extremely proud. I know the board shares my enthusiasm. We can't thank the community enough for their support these first 27 years, and we look forward to the next 27 years. This is going to be a key part of it. And with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to Roger Durman, our President and CEO of the Florida Aquarium.
All right, I'll do a little mic adjust. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all here at the Florida Aquarium. You'll hear that a lot throughout our presentation. So a couple things. 5 years ago, I had the privilege of joining the Florida Aquarium as president and CEO, and I came here with an ethos that really channeled Daniel Burnham. Make no little plans, for they don't stir the souls of men and women. And so 5 years later, we are here today to talk about our largest expansion and renovation in our 27-year history. $40 million is what we're bringing together to build a dynamic aquarium that Tampa Bay deserves. A world-class aquarium that saves wildlife, that engages our guests in our community, that educates, that inspires, and that creates action to protect our natural world and our environment, especially here in Tampa Bay, that environment that we often take for granted that we have synergies with right here in our backyard and around the globe. So one of the things you're going to see for us moving forward and delivering on that promise of making no little plans starts today with today's announcement. So we're looking at a 3-year, $40 million capital project expansion that's going to come in 3 phases. So phase number 1 takes place right here in this ballroom here in the Mosaic Center. We are going to convert this space into a rotating, traveling exhibit space, a special exhibit space. Our animal team is the best in the business. They care for those 9,000 animals every day, throughout their entire lives. So having a rotating special exhibit space allows us to work with our colleagues and bring new exciting animals, stories, and conservation messages every 18 to 24 months to be able to, again, engage, inspire our community, inspire our guests, and really have a call to action. This will be a dynamic opportunity for us, again, to engage members, to engage donors around an exhibit, exciting animals, some animals that have never been seen before here at the aquarium or even in our region, and we're excited to get that launched. That project will start in January of 2023, and our hopes is that it will open up in the summer of 2023. So by this time next year, our goal is to have our special exhibit, rotating traveling exhibit space open, and we will announce what that theme is here shortly as we fine-tune what our first exhibit will be out of the box. Secondly, in phase 2, what we're going to do is take our second floor lobby and reimagine it. We're going to have an anchor species, puffins. So puffins will be the anchor species, and you can see in some of the renderings that it'll be a 2-story exhibit right here in the aquarium that will go from the second floor to the first floor and really engage our audiences in a different way. And our team will talk a little bit more about the design and the animal collection that goes in there. But anchored by puffins, how do you get to see puffins? And those who don't know puffins, they're kind of the North American, I will not call them the version of the penguin, but they kind of have that characteristics of black and white birds that are dynamic, that swim, that dive, and we're super excited. But how do you get to see puffins? You have to walk through a rugged coast. You've got to walk along some of the rocky shores. So we are going to reimagine and reinvent our second floor lobby to carry our gallery story from our stingray exhibit all the way to our puffins exhibit. That's extremely important to us because we get to talk about a lot of the animals both here in our backyard and around the world that rely on those rugged coasts and those shorelines to live. It also allows us to tell our conservation story and opens up another pathway for our guests to explore. That project is scheduled to open in the summer of 2024. And then finally, phase 3. So phase 3 will be behind us here at the aquarium and will be in our outdoor plaza. Phase 3 is a very grand, dynamic, engaging, very large-scale sea lion, outdoor sea lion habitat that will also bring our penguins out front and be able to allow us to do some more species survival work with our penguins. But I want to emphasize, this is the first time that we will have sea lions on the west coast of Florida, California sea lions. It will be a dynamic outdoor exhibit, landscaping that will flow and take you away and feel like you are up on the Pacific Northwest seeing these amazing animals. We will bring some conservation stories and have conservation programs that surround our sea lions as well. I know there's one question that lingers out there that this will be the conversion of our outdoor kind of play area where there's a splash pad. Trust me, we will have things like our splash pad that will be worked into and other play features. But really, to be able to bring this sea lion exhibit to, again, the west coast of Florida here to Tampa Bay is going to be extremely dynamic. One thing that we'll talk about a little bit later, but I will lean into is why some of the animals. So these are iconic animals that have great conservation stories. They also have conservation stories that relate to a lot of the issues that we have here in our own backyard. But one of the things we have found when we talk to our guests, when we talk to our community, and again, build the aquarium that Tampa Bay deserves, these animals play an important role in our messaging, an important role in our engagement of community, and again, an important role of conservation, not only of their species, but also of other species. So for instance, many of the issues that are facing California sea lions right now also face, our manatees here in our backyard are facing as well. So we are going to bridge that gap. We have evolved over the last several years to be a conservation-based aquarium. We will continue to live in that mission. We will continue to inspire, bring engaging exhibits to the aquarium, to Tampa Bay and beyond. We'll live into our name as the Florida Aquarium. And again, I'm excited to be able to stand in front of you and say we are starting to deliver on that promise of making no little plans with a $40 million expansion here at the Florida Aquarium. So with that, everybody wants to know a little bit about animals. There's no better person in the country, in the world even, than our Senior Vice President of Animal Health and Care, Tim Binder, and I'm going to ask him to come up and talk about our animals.
Thank you, Roger, and good morning, everybody. Again, thank you for being here. This is a really exciting time. The opportunity to bring new animals, new experiences, new knowledge to our guests and our supporters is really, really exciting. As Roger mentioned, our first exhibit will be our special exhibit hall. It's going to be a 3,700 square foot space. It's double the space we're in because that wall opens up. And we'll have the opportunity to on a rotating basis, establish a theme or a topic for guests to come in and experience for 18 to 24 months or maybe a little bit longer. And we'll connect guests in a way that they've never been connected, up close and personal with animals they've never seen before, with new information about the aquatic world, with some of the awe and wonder of the animals that we get to care for each and every day. And then we'll be able to rotate that out to a new and exciting topic as we move forward, and we'll continue that process in years to come. I should point out in all of these exhibits, first and foremost is animal welfare is our top priority. We make sure that in all of our exhibit design that you're going to see, all of our exhibit concepts, we make sure that the animals that we will have entrusted to our care, that we will be able to care for them through all life phases. And that's very, very important to us. So as we look at our exhibit themes, we look at our exhibit animals, we want to make sure that that is at the foremost of our thought processes for what we bring to our guests. So special exhibit, as Roger mentioned, opening this time next year, you should be able to walk through this space and see some pretty cool animals that we're really excited about. The following summer, we're looking at opening Rugged Coast, as Roger mentioned, showcases puffins, but that exhibit will be a multi-species exhibit. It will have other species of diving birds. It will have large fishes that you would find in the same habitats as puffins. It's a beautiful exhibit that's 45,000 gallons. It's 2 stories, as Roger mentioned. There's 15 feet of water depth, so these diving birds will be able to dive off the cliffs and dive into the water, and you'll be able to see it from the first floor, the second floor, up close from a distance, all sorts of dynamic viewing opportunities. But that whole exhibit, that Rugged Coast, gives us the opportunity to bring to our guests, rugged coasts from around the world. And that gives us opportunities to change the smaller exhibits in that habitat in that exhibit on a regular basis. So anchored by the puffins, it still gives us a lot of flexibility and a lot of opportunity to educate guests about the aquatic world. Lastly, as Roger mentioned, the California sea lion exhibit and penguin exhibit, it's roughly 250,000 gallons in water total, 2 separate exhibits. The penguins and the California sea lions won't be in the same place. But it will be a very dynamic. It will be focusing on the African penguin, which is a highly endangered species. We'll have a breeding colony of those animals, and working with our colleagues from around the U.S., making sure that our management and breeding of those animals ensures genetic diversity across that population of animals that are in human care. And the California sea lions, what a wonderful way to connect people with the awe and wonder of the aquatic world. They're dynamic, they're fun, they're exciting, but their messages are very, very powerful as well, and we'll be able to connect our guests to those messages. Lastly, for me, one of the most important things is through all of this, you'll be able to experience the love, care, and compassion that we have for the animals that are entrusted in our care. And we're looking forward not only to sharing with you about the wonders of the aquatic world, but about how we feel about the animals that we care for and the importance that they have in all your lives. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian Schutze from Space House. He's the magic that's bringing our vision to reality. Brian?
Thank you so much. Chicago says hello. First of all, I want to say that this is an incredible partnership because Space House, we're a company that does work all over the world. We still view our animals as the client. And in working with the team here, we were asked to co-lead an interdepartmental group to determine the what and the where. And that was about 6 months ago. And so the result of that collaborative exercise is what you see here. So some of the design components that I'll talk about are what we'll be pursuing from this point forward. So when looking at the Rugged Coast with puffins that you've heard about, it's an exhibit with up to 15 different habitats, and we're considering each of those habitats having some kind of moving water, something that references the natural environment that these animals live in. And why display these animals? On the Rugged Coast, they've all adapted to these incredible, harsh, sometimes unpredictable environments. And with that, it gives you an opportunity to talk about great conservation and education messaging. And it's a very, very dynamic, from waterfalls to moving levels to tidal zones. This is incredible. The puffin exhibit, in our world of designing habitats, educational living environments for animals, is you want to build in unpredictability. That gives the animal the sense that each day is new. They recognize that if there's a food cannon, which in our world, that's a device that the animal staff can put sardines or some kind of food that the birds will dive to get, we strategically place those locations and release that food at different points, and that gives the animal this sense of unpredictability. There's also nesting that is integrated into the system, because that is such a big part of their natural habitat. And like you've heard before, 20-foot tall windows. It's right outside the doors where you exit here. The water's 15 feet high. There's kelp that's in this environment, but it should be incredibly dynamic. We hope to move the water, we hope to move the kelp, but a great anchor for rugged coast. As far as the outdoor exhibits, which are very exciting, right outside the windows here, the California sea lion is one cohesive habitat that's subdivided into three. Again, that notion of unpredictability. The animal team here can manage that collection, open gates from one pool to another pool. The depths of the pool range from 10 to 15 feet. The acrylic windows that you view, some are 5 feet, some are 3 feet, so it depends on where you're at. And it's all within this park setting, all accessible. Strollers, wheelchairs, et cetera, can circulate around this environment. It also has a presentation pool that has a capacity of about 200 guests, and it's where you could really deliver pretty high level and very engaging conservation and educational messaging. There's also an animal encounter pool where guests can actually have a session with one of the sea lions, and you can see this all from an underwater tunnel looking up at that environment, which is one of the deeper pools. So it's going to be an incredible contribution to not only the stay time, the messaging that can be delivered, and it makes the Florida Aquarium part of the international conversation. And I think that's just absolutely amazing. Then the African penguins, again, up to 30 birds, maybe a few more, nests, various water depths, recreation of their natural environment, a crawl through for kids to pop up in a bubble that allows you to be right by one of these areas where they're either being fed or nesting or something, but a very, very close encounter. Should also say we've designed a lot of seating. A lot of parents like to check their messaging while their kids are out there, so we want to make sure they're super comfortable as well. So again, very excited, and thank you for bringing me in, and I can't wait for us to really begin. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Tim and Brian, for really helping bring to life what you've seen here today and what we're sharing with you today. I will echo what Roger said. None of this is possible without the best-in-class team that we have here at the Florida Aquarium. And so all of this is the vision of that group, led by our board, driving us forward to make no little plans. So that's exciting.